All right. We are back at it today. We are at the Grit Won't Quit podcast studio in Belmont, New Jersey. We have a very special guest on, a guy I met right around the pandemic. Is Chef Mike from Atlantic Bar and Grill. Morning.
Yep. Hello.
How are you? We met at the pandemic through Cliff.
Yes.
And he was giving out meals, and he was like, Tom, we got to do some videos here at Chef Mike's place. And I never knew who you were. I only had heard your name, and here we were now on the beach. And shooting videos and content for Cliff and all the great work he does.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
That was a wild time. COVID. It was no one knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And then you guys came in, did a nice piece about us, and because I think we were in the takeout mode then.
Yes, exactly.
Because there were so many different modes. Not eating inside, eating outside. It was just a kooky time, but we survived. We're survivors. We survived Sandy. We survived everything that was thrown at us. We survived.
Yep.
And made it through unscathed. Just because we're strong, and we have the name, the reputation, and. We put out a great product.
How long have you been down in Seaside?
23 years now.
23 years.
I was the chef previously. From 2000 to 2010, I left 2 years. I opened a restaurant in Point Pleasant called 709. It was now it's B2 Bistro, I believe.
Bistro,
yes. So I built that, designed that, got out, and then Sandy hit. Actually, I was leaving anyway. I just wasn't happy there. So the minute I put my notice in, that was the same night Sandy hit.
Oh, wow.
That was the day I was leaving. And I was like, well, this is kind of like a telltale sign. The owner of Atlantic Bar and Grill called me up and said, listen, I own the hotel and the restaurant. I don't want to do the restaurant anymore. I'm done with this. Nothing happened to it, by the way. I thought I was going to see it floating down the ocean.
Yeah.
Thing was built like a Fort Knox.
Wow.
Old Italian mason built in the 50s, solid 18 inches solid concrete. I mean, the best of the best. It withheld every storm that ever rolled through there. Nothing ever moved. Anyway,
and you're so close to them.
We're right there. And when I went back, I said, yeah, definitely I want to get big. He goes, I'll lease to you, I'll give you a great deal. And he did. It was amazing. When I went back, there was no dunes, and that was really weird. You could see all the way to the ocean.
Yeah. It
was flat. And I was like, I've never seen that view ever.
It's wild.
It was wild. It was a wild time. And so we got back into it, and we named it Chef Mike, ABG. We always called it ABG, which is short for Atlantic Bar and Grill. And I said, well, let's just not change the culture of it because everybody kind of knows it. It's successful. Let's just put Chef Mike on top of it because I was building my brand as Chef Mike. Mm-hmm. Which I was learning from like Disney and Coca-Cola and all these big corporations, and from my friend Joe Leone.
Yep.
You know Joe Leone, right?
Of course I know.
So Joe, who doesn't, right? But he's a marketing genius, by the way, complete genius, and I follow him all the time, and we're very close friends. Is he put his name? Everything is branded Joe Leone's, even though his name's not Joe Leone's. It's funny, but the brand was he put it on everything and exploited that name to build his brand. So I kind of like, well, I'm going to do the same thing for Chef Mike.
Yep.
And I'm going to use Chef Mike as the brand, and I could take that brand and put it everywhere now. I could do Chef Mike's hot dog stand. I could do Chef Mike's hamburgers, Chef Mike's pepper and onions, whatever the way I want to do it now. But Chef Mike would be the brand that would carry me over, and that would get success. So that's how that came about. And then it's been rocking and rolling ever since.
Now, how is it in the winters down?
Well, we only open up on the weekends, because it is seasonal.
Yep, sure.
There's not many people around, but we do specials like Thursday. We're just open Thursdays now. We do 20% off your check. We're open Friday and Saturday and Sunday. We do a seafood spectacular Sunday. $1 clams and oysters, half price wine and beer, $5 bloodies.
Wow.
$10 calamari. This week we have $10 buffalo shrimp and half price crab cakes. So it gives them a reason to come down.
Yeah.
We're doing like 125 dinners on Sunday. We're packed.
That's great.
Place is jammed.
I was down at, my wife wanted to go take pictures last week at Island State Park.
Yes.
Island Beach State Park.
Yep.
She was looking for the fox.
Fox, yep.
He wasn't there though, or he didn't want to come out.
He sits on my dune all the time. I watch
does he
him.
really?
Yeah, he comes out, sits there, watches us.
How did I know that? I just would have went there.
Yeah, he sits there, hangs out.
So, but it was a little bit slower time down there, but to the seasonal hustle of.
Oh yeah, no, it goes from 0 to 60 in 10 seconds. It's like, phew. But then too, and then when it's over, it drops down
Yeah.
from 60 to 0 in 10 seconds too. So
Are you ready for the summer season?
yeah, we are.
Any new menu items?
Yeah, we just started our brand new menu actually this week.
Okay.
And it's awesome. And then we're gonna change it again before the summer.
Okay.
We do it quarterly.
Okay.
So we like to keep things fresh. This is our spring menu that just came out.
Mm-hmm.
All things that are spring, fresh peas, fresh corn. We're doing a lot of marinades, lamb, a lot of grilled fish.
Okay.
But this menu was kind of cool because me and my manager, who's with me 24 years, we're like a songwriting team. Like we're Bon Jovi and Richie Sambora together.
Yep,
you know,
sure.
like we sit and write the hits, and we just know what to write. Like, so this menu we wanted to go retro. We wanted to bring it back to the old days, which everybody is always doing stuff forward. We're like, let's go retro. Mm-hmm. But let's put a twist on everything. So it's like a retro fusion.
Okay.
Example: we did a classic French onion soup, which I love. I haven't had it in years. I haven't done it in probably 20 years. And back in the day, that was a very popular. It's still on some menus. You see it with the crock, with the cheese melt and all that stuff. I go, but let's take it and let's put some braised short rib in it. Let's take it to a whole nother level. And we use 4 onions, 4 different kinds of onions, right? We use calandris crostini, which is the best, calandris bread, right? Shredded short rib, and then we put this was Gruyere cheese, a little more creamier, a little more better. And then we bake it in these old school crocks. And you crack into that. Every bite's got onion, short rib, crostini, broth. It's pure sexy. It's sexy.
All right. So you're excited about that
Yeah,
one.
but then we did like a plain of paella instead of, because I love paella, but it's very hard to do unless you have the right pans. But we did it with risotto instead. So we did a lobster and shrimp risotto with saffron and fresh peas and garlic, So again, sexy food. We brought back a crab spaghetti, which I haven't seen since I was a kid.
Did you grow up on the Jersey Shore?
I did. I grew up in Brick. I'm a Bricktown boy.
All right. Local guy.
Yeah, I'm a brick guy. And then when I turned 18, I moved out and went to culinary school in Rhode Island, Johnson and Wales.
Johnson and Wales. Shout out to Johnson and Wales today.
And then I left that and traveled all over the country, working for a lot of celebrity chefs that weren't celebrities yet because that wasn't the genre yet. I mean, this is when all the kitchens there was no open kitchen. Everything was closed. But I traveled everywhere, East Coast, West Coast, middle, everywhere. Made no money. I think the most I ever got paid was like $2 an hour. But I did it to learn.
And you learned.
And to get names on my resume, and which opened up every door.
Yep.
When you have big name chefs, Wolfgang Puck, Christopher Gross, Roxanne Sokos, big names that you can put, Mark Miller, Coyote Cafe, New Mexico. I mean, just like awesome names. And I learned like a sponge. I just would stay there for 6 to 8 months, lived off the land pretty much, had a bike or a motorcycle.
Yep,
They didn't even have a car. And learned my craft, which a lot of people don't do today. They don't learn their craft. They don't learn.
Yeah, they just want to be the CEO on day one.
Yes, exactly. They go right for the money, and they don't learn what it takes to get to that money.
Yeah.
Which I did that, and I took 10 years. I did it for 10 years. Went on the road and just then I came back to Jersey, and I had such a big head ego because I'm working for these Michelin star chefs and these amazing chefs and these best restaurants. And I come back to Jersey. I'm like, there's no restaurants in New Jersey. I got to go right to New York. I have to go right to the city because that's where the action is. And I went to the city and I worked in a couple of restaurants, and I was living in Jersey and they were double taxing me.
Yeah.
I'm still making no money. I'm still making $75 a week, and it was costing me more. So I was like, nah. So I came back to Jersey and I found a chef job, and then I actually started getting paid decently, and then it went from there. I started opening up all these great restaurants, and they all became 5-star restaurants, all like top line stuff, and that's how I built my name and my craft, and it opened up every door for me because now every owner wants to hire me. They'll pay me whatever I want. And because they know if I go in the door, it's the hand of gold that we're gonna make it the number one restaurant around. Because I'm super determined, super aggressive to do that, and I would work 100 hours a week just so I could make it the number one place.
Yes.
Because I looked at it as my name and my brand that I
Sure.
have to protect. So that's how that happened. Then I fell upon Atlantic Bar and Grill. And it was a great gig because at that time they were closing the whole winter, and I was still getting paid. I was like, wait a minute, I don't have to work and I'm getting paid. This is the best gig ever. And then when I got into it, I used to work at a restaurant. I don't know if you remember this, called the Bluffs in Bayhead.
No.
It was on the ocean.
Okay.
It was a restaurant. It was an old Victorian hotel.
Okay.
That was built in the 1800s.
Wow.
Okay. Historic. Mm-hmm. And it back in the 1800s and during Prohibition, it was one of the biggest hotels in New Jersey on the ocean, and a lot of storms destroyed a lot of it. But anyway, we had this great restaurant. It was this fine dining restaurant right on the water where you open up the door and there's the ocean right there.
Oh, wow.
And that's like the dunes are right there. So it got knocked down. It got sold, knocked down like every other piece of real estate in New Jersey on the water, because that's just, people are more obsessed with living there than seeing the beauty of a nice place to dine. We're only number 8 left in the state of oceanfront on the water. So when I went to Atlantic Bar and Grill, it was attached to a hotel or motel that was doing kind of like medium end food. Nothing high end. Mahi sandwich, crab cake. Budweiser on tap. Dollar beers. They were doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Whatever. And I was looking at it. I was like, you know what? I seen the view, and it Bluffs. It went right to my head. I was like, what are we wasting our time for? Let's make this a dining destination. Let's make it the best restaurant on the Jersey Shore. We have the $1 million view. Why are we wasting our time serving a Mahi sandwich?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I did it, but it took time. It took time to. I didn't do it I didn't change the menu in one season because I would have alienated everybody and no one would have came back.
Yeah.
So we did it slow. We slowly started upgrading the dishes. The wine list only had 23 bottles on it. We started adding bottles to the wine. We started bringing in martinis, getting rid of putting craft beer on tap.
So you got rid of the Bud Heavy?
Yes, got rid of the Bud. Listen, we pissed off a bunch of people, but we gained more.
Yeah, sure.
Because now lawyers, doctors, celebrities, we're starting to get noticed. It's a place to come out to dinner. Our wine list went from 23 to 100 bottles. We actually built a wine cellar. So I started bringing in nicer food. And then we started building plates, different colored plates and shapes. And the owner was 100% behind it because he's loving the revenue. And he let me do whatever I wanted to do. He gave me full reign. We changed the kitchen around. And it just went like this, took off like an airplane. It just took off, and it was awesome. And it put my name and stuff on the map. So
now, what got you to leave and go to 709?
After 10 years, I just got like maxed out, done. Like I'd done everything I wanted to do. I maxed it out. We couldn't do any more business. We couldn't, the place is only 80 seats, so we can't go up, down, or sideways. So it was just like, I can't go to the next level, And Joe Leone was friends with, Joe Leone was friends with the owner who bought the building, Carl Amana. And he introduced me to him, and he said, what do you think about this place? And I said, I would do this is it. And he, again, let me do a lot of stuff that I wanted to do and create this whole thing. And we wanted to do like a Vegas type restaurant. I don't know if you remember with the bubble walls and everything and the colors and the sushi bars. I say, let's make it like a Vegas style. At one point, we were going to have a photo booth in the middle of the dining room. Oh. We can go there and do a commemorative photo with the name in the back. We were going to do some. We were doing some because we went to Vegas for a week and we just went to all these cuckoo places. And I was like, you know what? This could be cool in Jersey because no one had that concept yet. No one was really doing that stuff yet. So, it was great. I had a blast there. Again, we opened the doors and packed lines out the door. Just on fire. We were doing 800 to 1,000 dinners a night there, like out of control. But then again, the burnout, and then I had some issues with the owner and something that didn't really gel anymore. So it was time to reinvent myself and get back. So, but I'm happy. I've been here now, the owner of ABG, 13 years.
Okay.
So it's it's going great. You know, I love it, and my staff is amazing. I still have the same staff, and I probably have the best staff on the Jersey Shore. They've been with me a lot of them over 20 years with me, or came back to work with me because I treat them right. You know, and I'm as good as them, and they're as good as me. You know, I need them, they need me. So,
so it's a good partnership.
You know what it is? I built a great family culture, and out of respect and taking care of them, and they know I got their back and they got my back. And I could leave at night, and the money's nobody's stealing from me. No one's doing this. No one's doing that.
Everybody's getting their job done.
The food goes out awesome because they all get taken care of. You know, you come to me and say, "Listen, I need food for this weekend. Help yourself, whatever you want."
Yep.
You know, that's the kind of culture. They're allowed to have a meal at the end of the night, a drink at the end of the night on me. It's nice, man. No one's really doing that. No one's offering that. You know, to get a free meal, and you can bring it home if you want for your family.
The pork chop too?
Of course, anything they want.
All right, I love that pork chop.
Oh my God.
I've had that pork chop a number of times at your place.
We sell so many of them. It's crazy. We still have it. It's one of those things I really can't take off the menu. There's a couple of things I can't take off the menu. That's one of them. But,
your business career has been a great run.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome. I can't complain.
Also, I know from Cliff, and I know from just seeing social media, you're also very big into the give back. And I heard you say off camera about Cliff having a heart of gold, and that could fill this room. But you have a heart of gold.
Yeah, no, I try. You know, I have great. I grew up. My parents were awesome. I grew up in an Italian and a Polish household. Okay. My dad was Polish. His parents were from Poland. My mom was Italian. Her parents were from Italy. So it was really hardcore traditional on both sides. And they taught me value. They told me if you have $1 and someone needs it, you give it to them. You know, like, and I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. I grew up in a blue collar family. You know, we never went without. But we didn't have like the top of the line stuff and the best stuff that other people had. We were comfortable, and you know, my parents put me through culinary school. They took a loan on the house to pay because culinary school even back then was very expensive.
Sure.
And now I don't know. I can imagine how much it cost, but they paid for my school. And they said one day when you become somebody or whatever, you know, play it forward. You know, take care of other people and stuff. So I kind of lived that mantra, and you know, now I take care. You know, my parents obviously I take care of them because they're retired now and stuff.
Sure.
And
they still local?
They live in Tom's River.
Awesome. So
but I don't. Well, my dad passed away 5 years ago. Just my mom. She lives in Tom's River. But I take care of my mom. Like, you know, whatever she needs financially, so anything, she's taking care of food. She'll call me up. She's like, I need some freezer stuff. All right, I'll bring over the pork chop. I'll bring over some steaks. You know, I'll bring over some chicken cutlets.
Andrew, we got to call him and say,
you know what I'm saying?
We need the pork chop.
I'll put together a freezer pack for you. You know what I'm saying? Because I have it. And it's like, wait a minute. You know, my mom took care of me when I was a kid, when I had nothing. Now everything goes full circle in life.
Yep.
Everything goes full circle. So
I'm with you.
But Cliff, you know, Dine on Us, very, very big. The other one is Ocean of Love, kids with cancer. Very big into that.
And you sit on the board, right?
Yeah, I sit on the board for Ocean of Love. And then Cliff, me and Cliff, you know, we do our side thing together that we mind meld, you know. We're Kirk and Spock, you know, like that's another team that we know what others thinking. We're the same age, we grew up with the same dealio. I'm a huge military guy. Okay. I never served it. My grandfather did and my father did, but I was not. I always wanted to, but I just went into this business instead.
Yeah, sure.
Which was just as kooky, but I'm a huge World War II historian. I love anything to do with our military, our veterans. I love our veterans. I do so much for them. You know, when I see a veteran out with their hat on, I either buy them dinner or buy them something, or anonymously, or I'll go up. You know, I sat next to a 95-year-old World War II veteran at an office lounge one time, and I bought him and his wife or whatever, bought him their whole entire dinner, and he looked and that generation was so unique, different than us. He leans over and he grabs me and says, "What's the matter? You don't think I can float my own tab?" Because that's the generation.
Yeah,
like they don't expect you to do anything for them. Like, you know, they're tough.
Yeah.
They're tough as nails. I go, no, I'm sure you can. I'm sure you can buy everybody here. You know, whatever. I said, I'm just doing that out of respect, man. I respect you and what you did for us and why were you not speaking German or Japanese. You know, thank you for that.
Yes.
You know? And I do that whenever I get next to. I met a guy who was in Vietnam. He was he flew the F-4J Phantom, and I love that plane. I'm obsessed with jet planes, and I go, especially Navy. I love Navy, and I couldn't stop talking about him. Bought him dinner, everything. I couldn't do enough for this guy.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? For what they did.
Yeah.
And that's all they want is a thank you. Like, because the Vietnam guys got a little back-ended on a lot of stuff. Yeah. They just want someone to say thank you.
Yeah.
You know, where the World War II guys got the thank you, they got the parades, they got all that stuff. But the Vietnam guys, it was a different kind of conflict. We were in a different world at that time. So
you're just a good guy like that. You see them and you just take care of them.
Yeah, you know what? It's all about the good karma, the good chi, the good, since I was, like I said, my parents installed that into me. So I have a 26-year-old son. So when we would do events back in the day, anybody needed anything, I was there. I did a lot of work with the radio stations. I remember OBM, they were doing a can drive for United Way or something like that. And at the time I had a Hummer, and they're big trucks. So I went to ShopRite, and it was the can sale. And I bought every can they had. And I filled my Hummer to the max, right? And they're like, "Oh, you must be hungry." I'm like, "No, I'm helping a lot of people."
I hate when I do my food drives and I have 20 turkeys in there, and they're like, "Oh, you're having a lot of people."
Yeah.
How stupid can you be?
I had 4 cars filled, so my son came with me. My son was younger at the time, and I made him unload every one to show.
Yep.
This is what we do. This is the culture that I built.
I love it.
That now I'm handing it over to you, and the philosophy.
He get it?
Oh, 100%.
Great.
Because the philosophy was, one day you might be in need of food, and someone's going to help you.
Yeah.
So you have to have that philosophy and that mentality of the good chi, the good karma. It's got to come around.
I love it.
Because one day I might be in a box one day living on the corner. I don't know, and someone might give me a plate of food.
Yeah.
But I know I can sleep at night. That I helped someone somewhere, somehow, even if it was one person, I know I changed their life.
Perfect. I love it.
You know what I'm saying? No matter what, I know I did more than one person.
Yeah,
I know that for a fact.
I know you did more than one person. I've seen you around.
Yeah, but I know that if I just did that one person and just changed their life for good, then I'm okay with the world, man. I'm good.
Totally.
I can go to sleep at night. So.
I love it. I think we're going to sign off with that because that is a great ending. You are an inspiration to me, to the community. I think you do great work.
Thank you, bro.
And the food is awesome.
I appreciate it.
Let people know where they can find you online, on social,
So
at the restaurant.
ChefMikesABD.com. We're on Instagram, Facebook. I think we're on TikTok. I don't even know. Probably. But our restaurant's located on 10th, 24th Ave in South Seaside Park. It's at the entrance of Island Beach State Park. We're on the ocean. You just drive till you can't go anymore, and you make a left, and we're on the top of the hill, right on the beach, which is still the $1 million view. I mean, there's dunes now, but I don't mind them.
Yeah.
People are like, "Oh, I can't see the ocean." I'm like, "Yeah, if the storm comes in, my restaurant's still going to be here." So I love those dunes. Exactly. But you could still see the ocean and stuff like that. And it's we make everything from scratch. We're a homemade kitchen, and we put a lot of love into everything we do. We really care about the quality of products. We're not cheap. I'm going to let you know right now, we're not a cheap restaurant, but we're a quality restaurant, and we give nice portions. And so you get what you pay for.
I've been there. I can validate it's a great restaurant. I love the pork chop. I've had the filet mignon there. I've had some other things. My wife is a big fan of the scallops there.
Yep, huge.
So thank you for all you do for the community. Thank you for, and then you could tell in the passion that comes out when you're talking about the restaurant and in the nonprofit work you do.
Thank you.
You're all in.
No, absolutely, 100%. You got to be. You can't, because then you're fake. Then you're phony. We can all talk all day, but if the proof's not put in, you'll see me at all these events. And if not, I'm scaling down on the amount I used to do like 25 events a year, and it's a lot on me now. So I kind of cut it down to just a few. But last year we gave out $75,000 worth of gift cards.
Awesome.
My bookkeeper's choking me. Why? And I said, because I have to give back. So
awesome. Thanks for coming in today.
Thank you very much. Thanks,
Pleasure.
guys. Have a great day. Thank you.